Good morning. How are you? I mean, really? Anyways, today I want to talk about something that I feel needs to be talked about. And it's worrying. First things first, everyone should know that worrying is not natural. It's like chicken nuggets, they're man made. Okay? People in the Stone Age didn't have anxiety. When they saw a motherfucking bear, they motherfucking got scared and took off or fought the bear or just whatever. But they didn't have an anxiety. Oh my god, what if I see a motherfucking bear today? They were busy making their tools and shit. Learning how to do fire. They didn't give a shit about, what's gonna come next. But let's say, take one person from the Stone Age who maybe had a very unfortunate experience with a bear. Maybe the person was a toddler and they just saw their mother getting mauled by a bear and then killed by it. Now they grow up fearing bears, being afraid that this will happen again. And they expect it because that trauma that stayed unhealed becomes now something he has to live with. Fear. And that's how the anxieties and fears work. They're not in your brain because your brain is stupid or whatever, I've heard people call their brains. Your brain is extremely smart when it comes to traumas. It's like there is a wound in your heart and your brain is like an alarm beeping. Deal with me, deal with me, deal with me. And it gets louder and louder and louder, and the anxiety gets worse and worse and worse the more you try to ignore it. So let's say a group of cavemen with this one traumatized caveman go for a hunt. And the traumatized caveman is like, I'm really fucking scared. I don't really want to do this. Maybe I should just go home and I don't want to do this. I'm too fucking scared. And the other cavemen laugh at him and ha 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 ha, because they never had this experience. They just see that this one traumatized caveman is a pussy. But in reality, he is wounded. And now this caveman goes home and thinks oh, maybe I'm just overthinking this and I have to swallow this fear and oh, I'm a real man. I have to get over this, yada yada. And then he just starts avoiding his thoughts. He starts avoiding his emotions. He's constantly keeping himself busy. Maybe just either totally avoiding hunting or immersing himself into something that keeps him distracted. Because he's it happened such a long time ago. Why I'm still afraid of this. I'm not a little boy anymore. I should be over it. And just shutting himself off to not feel. And constantly just feeling out of place, feeling anxious and not knowing why, not knowing how he feels in general about anything, just constantly overthinking, constantly in his thoughts, constantly afraid, constantly pushing those fears down, constantly pushing this anxiety down, denying it, avoiding it, You get my point? So, no, you do not have fears because you're stupid, or there's something wrong with you, or that you're a very difficult person. It's because you had trauma in your life that really happened, and you never healed from it. So now it just keeps playing and playing in your head, just trying to get your attention. How do you give yourself attention? You put your phone down, you put your distractions away. You're gonna sit with yourself and be honest about how you feel. And you know how you feel by just sinking in the body, wherever the anxiety is, because sometimes the anxiety can be in the heart, sometimes the anxiety can be in here, in the solar plexus. And you can also focus on wherever your body is tense, like are your teeth clenched, or are your eyes tired, or is your back aching. Like, you can also focus on these parts, because these are the places that your anxiety is stored in. And it doesn't matter what you feel. You can even feel totally numb. Feeling numb is an emotion. And trust me, I've been numb. And I healed myself from it. I sat myself down with the numbness. And I dealt with it. That's why I can talk about how to heal anxiety. Because I do this all the time. So the only way to heal your anxiety and actually let it go for life. People think that they have to live with anxiety for the rest of their lives. No. It's not a fucking life sentence. You can take your one anxiety and start from there. Just sit down with it. Maybe you want to ask yourself some questions. Let the answers come to you. Just sit with it. Maybe you'll need to. I'm not talking about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like, maybe you have to sit with yourself like 2 hours. Not doing anything. Just laying down or sitting and just looking at the fucking sky or the ceiling. And if you aren't used to being with yourself that way, then please do get used to that. Because if you cannot be with yourself or alone, you will not survive this world. Because being codependent in this world is very fucking dangerous. Trust me, I've been codependent. Anyways, the only way to heal your anxiety is by feeling it. And just giving yourself the attention and love and care and compassion you didn't have when you were, a child or a teenager or just younger, or whenever that happened to you. And know your trauma is valid. It doesn't matter what other people say, like, oh yeah, you should be over it by now, or like it wasn't such a big of a deal, or like, oh, you're such a pussy, or you're so weak, like, why haven't you gotten over it? Like, fuck what they say. Emotions don't work that way. And if they knew that emotions don't work that way, they wouldn't say such bullshit. Because emotions aren't logical. And it's not your fault that you're not over yet. And it's not your fault that it ever even happened. So whatever is troubling you, the good news is that it can be healed for good. Now, the bad news is that it requires work and commitment and persistence and facing your demons and facing the fucking rawest emotions you never even maybe fathomed you have. The price of your mental health is honesty. And truth can be a bitch. I know. But would you rather do the hard work and set yourself free, or live in the cage for the rest of your life, like many other people? The choice is yours. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if it helped you, and if you want to, you can talk to me about your anxieties. Also, if you feel like you maybe could help someone, you can share this video with them. And thank you again. Okay, see you in my next video. Bye.